Hi folks, thanks for joining me for this session on how to maximize time you have for fitness around a busy job, a busy schedule. Quite a few of my clients are doctors and busy working professionals where not just their actual time is limited during the week into the working out and just separate from work, family, social life, etc., but also their, I suppose, mental energy as well after long shifts, long difficult weeks, and just a stressful job. Being able to come home and then think, right, I want to go to the gym now can be pretty tough. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of things I really recommend for people to try and implement into their own kind of workout planning that can help you just make the most of the time you do have, and just make more progress ultimately too. First thing that I want to talk about is actually just having a plan. Super boring, not a sexy piece of advice, but often something that does require a fair amount of mental energy and investment of time and effort to create. And that's often why people come to me. It is for a plan. A big part of what my coaching is building a plan with people. But even having basic rudimentary plan can really make a difference for you. So setting out maybe how many sessions a week you want to do, what your goals are as well. So whether that's building muscle or building certain muscles or working on a certain level of fitness or achieving a certain level of leanness, for example, or maybe all three of those things. What's really important is, okay, what are my goals? How many sessions a week do I want to do? And then start thinking about, okay, let's say one thing I want to do is build my quads up more. And I also want to get better at running. So, okay, of those 3 sessions I have per week, 2 of those sessions maybe are going to be weight sessions and 1 session is going to be running. So I've got my dedicated running session per week, as well as then my weight sessions. And I might make those 2 different weight sessions, which are both whole body sessions, which include a movement dedicated to the quads. So it might be the gym session 1 has squats in it and gym session 2 has lunges. And then you could think about some accessories if you have time around kind of main movements for that workout. So, okay, so let's go a bit further with this. And so now we're looking at 3 sessions per week. 1 is a running session, and depending on what your distance or goals are for the running session, it might be that you think about doing intervals to get the most bang for your buck. So let's say you want to get a better 5K time for your running, then we might do some 5K based intervals for the running session, which could be 5 sets of 1K running at your kind of tempo pace with 30-second to 2 minutes rest between. It's just an example. For those weight sessions, yes, you want to build maybe bigger quads or stronger quads, but you also want to work out the rest of your body too. So you might have 2 whole body sessions in the gym, which take 45 minutes. And then there's a couple of concepts tied into this that I'm going to talk to you about as well. So yeah, first one, we're on a bit of tangent there. First one is build a plan. Having a basic core plan can make the world of difference. You don't need specific app software for that as well. You could literally just do it in Google Sheets or Excel or the Mac equivalent to give you a basic plan that you can just load up from the home screen on your phone when you get to the gym. Or if you like to be old school, you can write it down. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is something called minimum effective dose. So we sort of touched on it already there a bit with having just 3 sessions a week. But the minimum effective dose is really about what is the minimum amount of work or exercise I need to do to see a good level of result. So let's say, I know you want to increase your bench press from 40 kilos to 50 kilos. You could probably do that with 1 session a week. And so you might say the minimum effective dose is 1 session per week, or taking it more deeply, the minimum effective dose might be 3 sets of 3 reps per week. Some people might, with the same goal of wanting to get into 40 to 50 kilos, might be doing 3 sessions a week, which will have some bench variation in them. And you might say that's more of a maximal dose for the same goal, when actually you might be able to get that goal with just 3 sets of 3 per week. So why am I telling you about minimum effective dose? So this is something that can help you maximize the time you do have. So if you've only got 3 sessions a week, 2 of them which are in the gym, and you've only got about 45 minutes to an hour for those sessions, that's plenty of time. And so if you then know, okay, I want to get better at my bench press and I want to build stronger quads, then for bench press, yeah, I might have just building to 3 sets of 3 per week or 3 sets of 5 per week. And similarly for quads, I might go for either a back squat or a leg press. And that might again just be 3 sets of 10. And you'll find that if you are doing an intense 3 sets of 10 at a challenging weight that's challenging for you, that you'll see great results from that. I have quite a few clients who they only do 2 sessions a week in the gym and they get great results because what we do is target them working at their challenging weights, continuing to progress, continuing to put weight at the bar, and we do other things as well to make it challenging, which means they continue to make progress. So think about the minimum effective dose. You don't need to do a million sets and reps for a certain body part. Having some intense reps but a moderate amount can do really well for you. So that's the minimum effective dose. That's number 2. Number 3 is supersets. So if you've not heard of supersets before, it is literally just having one exercise and then another exercise back to back with no rest in between. So it could be that you superset something like bicep curls and tricep extensions. That's a really common one that you see people doing in the gym, and it could just save you time. So you would literally do, let's say, 10 reps of bicep curls and immediately go and do 10 sets of tricep extensions. You then rest a minute 30, and then do another set. All you're really doing is cutting out a rest period, but that does then save you, if you're doing maybe 3 sets of that, and let's say you're resting for a minute and a half, that's 4.5 minutes that you've saved in rest time, which let's say you then are doing in this program, bench press, pull-ups, squats, and machine hamstring curls. So that's 4 exercises. And then you're doing biceps and triceps. So that's 6. And then some maybe kind of ab variation or core variation, which might be toaster bar. If you want to be really hardcore and you hate yourself, toaster bar. So if you've got those 7 exercises in there and you have rest periods between every single exercise, that can add up to quite a bit of time of your workout, just at rest periods alone. I'm all for rest periods and making the most of them so you can do the most in the sets themselves. And we want to be using as much of our strength and intensity. And we do that by resting enough to be ready for the next set. But using supersets where appropriate can be a good way to then speed up your workout. So particularly for accessory movements, I would say using supersets can be really beneficial. And where I would avoid using supersets is if it's for very heavy strength-based work. So let's say you are doing 3 sets of 3 or singles on squat or bench press. I probably wouldn't superset those. I would probably conserve all my energy for that strength work. But let's say, it's day 1 and it's your strength day and squats is the main goal you have, or leg strength is the main goal. So I do my 3x3 sets of squats, and then I would then go into hamstring curls. And again, I'd probably just do them normally, but then bench press and let's say pull-ups or lat pull downs, I would superset that potentially. Then maybe more of an accessory exercise and something that is slightly less intense, and you might be doing more reps in those sets. So it might be 3 sets of 8 for bench press and 3 sets of 8 for lat pull downs. Supersetting those just means you can get that work done a bit quicker whilst having enough rest to still do well in those movements. So supersetting is, an excellent way to save time, particularly when done well. And it's just about doing it where it's appropriate and maybe not doing it for every single exercise. As conversely, you do need to make sure you are resting enough between sets to make sure that you can do the best in your next set. I'd much rather you have 3 complete sets of 5 reps rather than not resting enough between sets 1 and 2 and sets 2 and 3. And then in set 2, maybe only getting, let's say, 3 reps. And in set 3, you might just get 2 reps because you've only rested 30 seconds and you've not really recovered yet. So do make sure you rest enough, but consider supersets. Tip number 4 is specificity of warm-ups. So warming up, super important. We want to avoid injury, but we also want to minimize the time we spend warming up. It is quite common to see on social media, very long warm-ups. There can be 5, 6 exercises for 3 or 4 rounds of those. And often you might be more tired from the warm-up than you would be from your main workout if you're not careful. We're just trying to warm up the body. We're not trying to kill ourselves. And if you're limited on time, we can be really specific about the work that you do to make it really just tailored to the session you have. So if you've got a whole body session planned, let's say, where you're going to be doing, back to our example, squat, hamstring curls, bench press, lat pull downs, and an ab variation. What you might do for your warm-up might then be something that challenges your legs and hamstrings. So you might do something like just standing reverse lunges or walking lunges to help get your lower body warm. And then for your upper body, it might be something like doing a downward dog to cobra, for example, a kind of classic yoga move, or even just going on the ski erg for 30 seconds. That can be a good way to just start to get you warm. You then go into your exercises. You might do 1 or 2 quick warm-up sets with the bar and a weight building towards your working weight. and then you're into your working sets. So you can transition relatively quickly from being cold to being warm and ready for those exercises. So just try to be specific with the things you do and tailor it to your workout is important. That maybe wasn't the best example because of the whole body workout. But let's just do another quick one whilst we have the time, and hopefully you're still listening. So let's say you're doing an upper body session early and you're literally just going to be doing things like benching, bench pressing, barbell rowing, back extensions, shrugs. So it's really focused on the upper body. So a good example could be literally for your warm up, you would just do a minute of the ski erg to get the body moving and flexing. And then you do a couple of dynamic stretches, which might be something called thread the needle, which is to open up your chest and open up your upper back, as well as something like arm swings or kind of intense arm rotations to get your shoulders warmed up. So all we have there is a minute of light cardiovascular work and 2 dynamic stretches, which you might just do twice through in under 2 minutes. So 3 minutes, you're pretty specifically warmed up for that session and you can get cracking. So long story short, try and be specific with your warm-ups. Just try and tailor the warm-up to the body parts you're going to be using. This will just help you save time for your sessions and just make the most of the time you have. The last tip is to try and build fitness into your commute, particularly if you have a maybe more cardiovascular goal, such as running 5Ks or 10Ks, or cycling a certain distance, maybe cycling 50 miles for the first time. Cycling in your commute or running in your commute and kind of building a session or program in some form can be really useful. And it could just be as simple as you just do a steady jog to the office or to hospital or to your GP surgery and home again at the end of the day. And suddenly you've added in 5 or 10K to your weekly distance that you're covering just from doing that maybe once or twice a week, depending on your goals. You can go further and you could program in a more specific session. And so let's say you've got a 5K run to get to the office. Okay, let's split that into a run 800 meters at a tempo and then slow jog or walk 200 meters. And you just do those 5 repeats till you get to the office. That's just a basic example, but there's other things you can do to try and build in more specific sessions. And again, just make your fitness sessions as part of what would otherwise be dead time on the bus or in the car. So there's just 5 or 6 tips, which I would give you around how to maximize the time you have for fitness and how best to use the tools and resources you have in your day. So I mentioned at the beginning is, a lot of my clients are doctors or people who are working professionals and have similar challenges, how they make the most of the time that they have. And it's very common that I have clients who are working out in the gym maybe twice a week, and then they're running or cycling a 3rd day in the week. And they get great results for a long period of time because it's all about how can we make the most of the time that you do have. And we do that by being very deliberate and intense with the training that we do, making the most of the warmth that we have, and just being very specific to their goals. If you've got any questions around how to maximize time that you have fitness or any challenges you're going through at the moment with your fitness or nutrition, do just reach out. Be more than happy to help, and I'll see how you're getting on with these tips shortly.